The clock was somewhere between far too late and far too early. I was sitting in my office, staring out over Center City. The Nests of Sin were lighting their neon signs. I looked down at the thousands of wild and hungry souls who rushed around on the wet sidewalks looking for shelter from the rain. I needed a drink. I needed a vacation. I needed a home in the country. What I had was a coat, a hat, and a gun. I put them on and went out in the rain. Center City is filled with dreams of gold and tongues of silver, nerves of steel and bullets of lead. It's got 1,000 stories, and mine's just one of them.
Good evening and welcome to Nerves of Steel on the Gauntlet. My name's Kat Raman. We have a wonderful cast that's going to assemble a nice classic film noir in just a few minutes. A little background about the game. Nerves of Steel is designed by the Swedish designer Simon Pettersson. He very kindly allowed me to create an English adaptation of the game, and we're going to give it a shot here. That's me. I did the game. You can find it on my website. But let's introduce Daryl.
Hi there. My name is Daryl. My pronouns are he, him, and this is my third month on the gauntlet. I'm very excited.
And we are so happy to have you. You were the best bomb-throwing witch possible. And next is, should I call you by Joe or by your handle on the gauntlet?
By Joe, please. Yeah, that handle on the gauntlet, I keep trying to change it and it doesn't change over. So I'm Joe. This is my, I think, second or third month on the gauntlet. Before this, I've just done some worldwide wrestling in another area. So I'm looking forward to trying something very different.
Great. And so I am a big film noir fan. It sounds like our two friends here are as well. And the way this is going to work is we're each going to pick some roles that are somewhat classic film noir archetypes, and these will eventually have some characters associated with them. But one of the conceits of the game is we do not know too much about the situation when we start. There are also some fairly strict rules about talking, which you will see shortly, but the two main ones are while we're in scene, there's not allowed to be any meta discussion, and also everything gets narrated from the point of view of the main character in the first person. This is going to be neat. It'll take a little getting used to, but we'll all get through this together and you'll find that it actually kind of makes things fun. Oh, and then there's this thing with jazz tracks, but we'll get to that in a second. So the three character archetypes we have are Nerves of Steel, who is the main investigative character. They have a special ability which allows them to make three things in the game to become absolutely true and not able to be modified by later ideas. The next archetype is called Silver Tongue. Silver Tongue is basically the femme fatale type, the character that's got a dark secret and is trying to do everything they can to keep that from coming out. And then finally, Golden Dreams is the character that is associated with ambition, working through minions, the large organization. Golden Dreams especially can sometimes become very personalized and not have not necessarily have an immediate character associated with them. The main ability of Golden Tongue, Golden Tongue, jeez. Golden Dreams is to declare that characters that are being introduced or have already been introduced in the game actually have been working for them before. When that happens, Golden Dreams gets to play those characters going forward, with one exception. Golden Dreams is in fact allowed to declare that the other two main roles have in fact been working for them in the past. When that happens, that becomes true, but they don't get to play the characters. So with that said, does anybody have a strong feeling about any one of these archetypes?
I kind of want to stretch myself and do Silver Tongue. That's not a type I've ever played before.
That works for me. Silver Tongue would have been playing to type, so I think I'll definitely, maybe I'll try to be, I don't know. You know what? Is it okay to try to be Nerves of Steel then?
Absolutely. I guess I'll do Golden Dreams again. That's cool. One of these days I'll play Nerves of Steel.
I mean, I'm totally down to trade as well. I'm super open. I'm not sure which way to go.
I'm not sure either. I don't have you're the guest, so I think you can take it if you like. The only thing is you're going to have a little responsibility of setting everything up at the beginning of the game, so you might want to come up with an idea about that.
Oof, okay.
So the basic milieu of this game is going to be America, probably somewhere between the 40s and the 50s. We can decide on a few of those questions right now because it'll just make life easier, I think, if we know for a fact that it's pre or post-war. My general leaning is to do post-war. It's just a little bit. It gives you a couple extra possibilities, but I don't have a strong feeling on that if somebody really wants to do like classic 30s noir or something. So cool. Next, let's do a quick safety thing because everybody here knows how to use the X card. Good, I'm going to tell you anyway. The X card is used as a way for us to approach problematic content without actually using it. So if you see something in the game that is not something you want to have in tonight's game, that will not make your experience better, you can say X card, you can do this. I don't have roll for your party up because we don't need it for this game, but so those two will work. We will stop and go back and find a way to route around that content. I should note that it is more than acceptable to use the X card for tone or just regular content. It does not always have to be a deep-seated trauma. God, I hope it isn't. The most important thing about the X card is we do not, in fact, have to say why. We just have to say that it did. So the next thing I like to do is lines and veils. A line is something that we are just going to preemptively exclude from the game, and a veil is something that we can have in the game, but we don't want to have really on screen. So does anyone have anything they'd like to throw onto that list right now? Okay, cool. We can obviously address that again at any point during the game. So, all right. Why don't you guys claim your character roles in the little box? And I will do that too. And then as we go along, we'll find out more. Like, what is Nerves of Steel's name? That's always a fun thing to find out. What do they do for a living? So I left a bunch of things in there for us to figure that out as we go along. The last game, the pronouns were kind of up in the air on Nerves of Steel for quite a long time, which was kind of neat. But it's totally okay to just figure that out right away as well. Any way you want to do it is cool. So, folks playing at home, I hope. We're going to have some jazz music, which I swear I will fix in post so that you'll all be able to hear it. But the way this is going to work is when we start our narration, we also start the jazz track. If there's a very short scene and we finish before the jazz track is done, that's okay. Just stop the scene, we'll go on. If the jazz track runs out, that does not mean you should stop the scene. Keep going. It's totally good. With all that said, are we ready to get going on this?
Yes, indeed.
All right then, Daryl, you can start playing some music, and just to be nice to me, you can let me know what what song you're gonna play.
I am previewing as we speak. Okay, it's probably going to be the Black Cat. So
Cool.
So shall I just begin or?
Start your narration whenever you're ready.
It had been raining for 3 days. The sound of the saxophone slunk lazily through the clouds of cigarette smoke. I gripped my whiskey glass tightly, staring at the ice cubes floating at the bottom. The air was just oppressively heavy, as it had been for the entire week. I pulled at my shirt collar, trying to loosen it after a long day. The band changed the song, played something even slower, even smoother. The ice cubes clinked around in my glass, just showing how empty it was. Just like my day, and just like my week, and just like my month had been. I pull off that tie, that damn tie that I just can't stand, like a noose around my neck, but hanging the wrong way. I run my hand through my blonde hair. I turn to the bartender and I say, "I'll have another one, Johnny."
You sure you can handle another one there?
I didn't ask your opinion, Johnny. I just want another drink.
Okay, everybody's a big shot. Here you go, coming right up. Should I make that a double, or do you plan to get out of here before tomorrow morning?
I'll leave, so just make it a single.
You working on anything?
Nothing of interest. It's been a dead end after dead end after dead end.
Then the doors open. I could see the rain hissing off the sidewalk, and she walked in. Tall, dark-haired, wearing a suit that seemed like it had been cut out of a cloud just for her to wear. She came in with a long cigarette holder in her mouth. The cigarette had almost burned down to a nub. She glanced lazily around the room, took in the band, took in all the broken dreams sitting at the tables around her. Then she sidled up to the bar 2 stools away from me and ordered a bourbon.
Hey, Johnny, put her on my tab.
You think... Oh, you got it. You're the boss.
I turned around in my seat, looked her up and down. I ain't seen you around before.
Real quick. So anybody can jump in at this point. Just letting everybody know so that we're all cool.
Still trying to feel that out. Okay, thank you.
Don't worry about it. So you may have noticed, like, I jumped in and just stuck something in there. Again, from the point of view of Nerves of Steel, but that's how this can work as we go around. So cut back in.
The dame took advantage of my generosity and ordered some of the more expensive brandy that Johnny kept behind the bar for special occasions. I noticed he didn't give her any grief about what she was drinking. So you come here often?
Often enough. Johnny here is my good friend. He'll take care of you.
Well, I do like it when men take care of me.
That's it's an awful indelicate thing to say, miss.
It's an awful and delicate time of the night, don't you think?
What brings you out at such an indelicate time of the night and in such terrible weather?
Oh. Little of this, little of that. Mostly, I just can't stand being stuck at home watching the rain pour down. Listen, either you nice gentlemen help a girl out with a cigarette?
I pulled my cigarette case out of my pocket and took the opportunity to give her another up and down. A woman like that definitely isn't a housewife. There must be something else keeping her up at night than kids.
I noticed she turned her nose up a little bit when she saw my brand, but apparently beggars couldn't be choosers. She fixed the new cigarette to the end of her holder and, well, gave me that look. A look that definitely let me know that this wasn't going to be an ordinary evening.
I leaned in and lit the cigarette for her. I lingered with my eyes and looking at hers for just a second too long.
So, you got a handle, sailor?
You can call me Sam.
Sam. I like Sam.
And you?
How about you call me Samantha?
Sam and Sam. Quite the setup. Sounds like a joke.
Or like fate, honey. Or like fate.
Well, Samantha, I reckon that as soon as you finish that brandy, we should maybe go for a walk in the park.
Well, that would definitely be interesting. I don't suppose you have an umbrella and all of that?
I do. And I'm sure that if you snuggled in real close, we could keep dry all the way to the other side of town.
Ooh. Well, that does sound like an adventure.
Just then, one of the club bouncers in his monkey suit walked up to us. "Hey, miss, he'll see you now." He held out his hand expectantly, like he wanted her to take it.
Oh, Marky, always coming in and interrupting my fun.
Are you a regular here?
You might say that.
I look up at the bruiser, taking in the slightly too tight squeeze of his coat around his chest, those big hands that probably met the faces of one too many gentlemen who'd had one too many drinks. And I wondered, what could a lady like that be doing talking to the man upstairs?
She slid off the stool like it was her own personal toadstool. Cut. I'm going to do that again. She slid off the stool like clouds off the top of a mountain. Well, honey, you may just need to take that walk in the park all by yourself.
I simply tipped my glass at her and turned back to the bar. Little did she know, though, that I was watching that swagger all the way back up the stairs in the mirror on the other side of the bar.
How's that feel for scene for everyone? Cool. Okay. So let's talk about questions. So folks at home, the way that we build a film noir mystery without knowing anything about it beforehand is we generate a list of questions that are from the viewpoint of the audience, and they should be the kind of thing that the audience wants to know and would feel cheated if they didn't. So I think number one is, who is Samantha? And number two, why is she meeting the man upstairs? I think finally, who is the man upstairs? How's that sound?
Yep.
Absolutely. Does it count as a question to also say who is Sam and what is Sam doing?
Yeah, maybe. Let's maybe let that go a little bit because having nerves of steel be slightly mysterious at the beginning is usually how this goes. But he's holding up a bar with with his shoulder and cool. So it sounds like we've got pronouns for nerves of steel too, yeah?
Yeah, I can see them as a he, him. So
And I don't know if Samantha is our silver tongue, though I was strongly getting that vibe.
Definitely could be.
Okay,
Could be a catalyst too. I'm not quite ready to commit to that yet.
cool. Good enough. Uh, all right then. So Joe, you ready to take the next scene?
Yeah. All right, let's do this. It had been raining for 4 days. There was something about morning light coming through the blinds, through the clouds, that made a hangover seem worse. Worse than the bright California sun. Worse than the light of a worse than the flashlight of a police detective. Even worse than a bare bulb in a room when you're tied to a chair. I rolled off my couch and instinctively started feeling in my coat. Wallet still there. Cigarettes, hip flask, empty. Must have been a hell of a night.
I've got the most splitting headache. I say to no one in particular. I decide to hoist myself off the couch and go splash some cold water on my face in the bathroom. As the light from from over the sink glares down at me, I take a look and see I'm a little too scruffy. Might need to shave sometime. Not today, but soon.
There was a knock at the door, and it opened because apparently I'd forgotten to lock it again. Outside, I saw the hangdog face of Sergeant McNulty of the detective squad. His hat was soaked, his suit was soaked, his eyes were soaked. He took it all in again and said, "Jesus, Sam, you ready to start working or what?"
I'm always ready for work. What brings you here today?
The same. They fished the guy out of the bay again. They got him up on the pier. I figure if we don't get him off there pretty soon, they're just going to build another stand around him on the midway and charge people 5 bits.
Charming as ever, I see.
This ain't a charming city, Sam.
I pull on my coat and close the door behind me, making sure to lock it this time. It's a lot more forgiving to forget to lock up when you're inside than it is when you've gone off.
The ride down to the dock was nothing special. I sat beside McNulty, smelling his aftershave, listening to him ramble on about his wife and 2 kids, just praying that he'd have some of his special cough syrup in the glove compartment, knowing if he did, there was no way he'd give it to me. McNulty was willing to tell his wife that he's off the sauce, but wasn't willing to let his friend have some. I could smell the docks before I saw them. That wonderful, nauseating smell of rot, decay. And when the car stopped and McNulty got out first. Even the rain couldn't wash away the scent of this place. And in the bright morning, I saw it down at the end of the pier. Small black shape that was obviously the poor sucker they drug out of the drink last night. I walked behind McNulty, giving a quick nod to anybody who I recognized along the way. Got a couple of knowing glances. My late night habits aren't exactly a surprise on the squad. Sorry. When we got to the end of the pier, the local doc was there. Oh, Jesus. You look like you've been out through hell, boy.
It's good to see you too, Doc. So tell me, what happened to this poor sucker?
I'm not sure yet, but I'm guessing it was drowning. Being as how he's all fishy and such. But here, I wanted you to get a look at him. Strangest thing. The doc pulled aside the black bag, and I had to stop myself from gasping. It was that giant I'd seen last night, the one that escorted Samantha up the stairs. He was deader than the New Deal, and it looked like somebody had strangled him.
Hey, I seen that skell around here before, said McNulty. You remember him?
Indeed, I do, I said. The body looked significantly less impressive when it was flaccid on the ground. I squatted down next to him and started rooting through his pockets, seeing if there was anything of interest.
His complexion hadn't been improved any by his extended bath. There was a neat hole right above his heart. 22, close range, probably. I shook my head, looked at McNulty, who shrugged. I don't know, Sam, he said. Maybe he died of a broken heart.
I didn't know a broken heart left handprints around your throat or a hole in your chest.
Hey, you don't know my wife so well.
Gloria's a good woman, McNulty. Leave her alone. I fished around in the pockets and pulled out a very fine chain, and at the end of it was a locket. On the locket was engraved two letters, S and Z. I tried to cast my memory back. Had she been wearing something like this? I wasn't sure.
Well, one thing's for sure, said McNulty. Mr. Gold isn't going to much like having his right-hand man here flitching up out of the drink.
I pictured Mr. Gold in my mind. I'd seen him so many times at the bar. Tall, slim, that perfectly manicured mustache that was just far too precise for anybody's good. I realized that if this guy had ended up in the drink, Gold must already know. There's no way Gold wouldn't have known. I turn to McNulty and I say, is it too early for a drink?
Oh, now that all depends. It's too early for me.
Well, seeing as how I didn't technically stop last night, I guess I could keep going and be totally fine.
You gotta let that dog stop biting you a little while if you can keep taking its hair.
I stand up and walk away, leaving McNulty to chase after me.
I feel like scene. Now, technically, it's the person who started who gets the final call on when a scene ends, but I am a facilitator, so I can
Thank you
help.
for facilitating. Yeah, that's
I can
perfect.
just push this along. But this is fine. Cool. So I think we can maybe make a commitment to the man upstairs as Mr. Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so new questions. What does SZ mean?
Mhm.
Who killed Mark?
And also, what happened to Samantha, who was the one
Ooh.
last saw with Mark?
Yeah. Okay, so I get to think of something, huh? Let me actually do what I'm supposed to do. Okay. Cool. I think I'm gonna start up with almost a year ago as our musical cue. Oh, yeah, let me listen to this and I'll come in a second. There's something strange about coming into a nightclub in the middle of the day. It looks desolate. All the tables covered, all the chairs put up. It's like stepping inside a hangover somehow. Maybe that was just my hangover. I didn't see any of the muscle down there, just a single guy playing clarinet, scales up and down again. It was slightly more comfortable than listening to someone drag a rake across the chalkboard. I nodded at him and then went straight up the stairs. Learned from experience that there's no asking to see Mr. Gold. He either asks for you or you barge in. But there wasn't going to be any easy way to do this, no matter what.
Hey, Gold, I say, as I push the door open. He's there at his desk, writing away at his letters like always. He looks up at me, almost like he's not even surprised I'm walking in the door.
Well, Sammy, what are you doing here? So bright and early. Bushy-tailed, even.
I try to ignore the insult because I know I look like hell. I just walk over to his desk and put my hand down on the door. Well, one of your boys was pulled out of the river last night, so I'm here to find out what you might know about him.
Yeah, it's rather a shame about poor Mark. He was coming on in the organization, too. I'm afraid I can't help you. Whatever must have happened to poor Mark happened long after he left my establishment.
And whereabouts was that, Mr. Gold?
Well, it may surprise you, Sam, my boy, but we don't actually have a punch card system here. I guess I can ask Johnny when he gets in, but probably it was after 2 in the morning. That's when I left.
And did you leave alone, Mr. Gold?
Oh, Sammy, are you expecting me to kiss and tell?
I don't know, I'm just curious about that fine young lady I saw Marcus squaring up here just before I left.
His face fell sharply, and for a moment I wondered if I'd gone just a little bit too far. I didn't know how or why. Then he recovered his calm. No, Sammy, my boy. That was just a business acquaintance of mine. Nothing to think about. Nothing to look into, you understand? Just, she's on the up and up. That's all you need to worry about.
Oh, Mr. Gold, despite your good looks and your exquisitely tailored coat, I know that there's nothing up and up about you. So I know that there can't be. I know that Miss Samantha must have something that's not quite up and up about her.
Well, we all have something that's not quite up and up about us, don't we, Sam, my boy? He stood up for a second and then pulled and opened the blinds just a bit to see the rain come, to watch the rain fall. City's built on illusion, Sam. It's built on the illusion that you can build a city in the middle of the desert and have it even if it's right next up to the ocean, and still have people live there and drink all the water they want and take showers 3 times a day because they have to, because of all the dirt and filth that rubs over them. It's built on the illusion that you can take an innocent farm girl and make her into a sex symbol overnight. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but it's all show, tinsel. No, no, Sam, my boy. It's a brand new country now. War's over, and we won. We get to make our own rules now. But here, I'm waxing philosophical. Why don't you sit down, Sam? Have a drink. Brandy's just as wet as it was in France.
He's playing with me, mentioning the war like that when I know he never went and fought. Mentioning the war when he knows that's why I'm in here half the week, trying to forget. Mentioning France and everything that happened. I turn away. I walk towards the door, but I don't quite make it. I turn back around and I say, Mr. Gold, you know I don't hold with all that philosophizing. But what I do hold with is when a pretty young girl gets taken advantage of. I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
You know, Sam, I tell you not to ask me a question. I didn't expect you to take an order from me. I expect just a little bit of respect. You drink a lot here, Sam, and I don't charge you half of what you owe. Keep that in mind, copper.
I tip my hat to him. And I walk back out the door, purposefully leaving it open.
That sure feels like scene to me. So cool.
Actually, sorry, can I add just one more thing to that?
Absolutely.
And as I was walking down the stairs, I stopped. Had I seen something out of the corner of my eye? Had I seen someone darting around the corner? Maybe someone who had been listening at the door while Mr. Gold and I had our conversation? I was going to have to find out.
Cool. That's cool. Very good. Who was listening at the door?
I think, what is the relationship between Sam and Gold?
Yeah.
They obviously seem to know each other from before this, and Gold's given him a discount on liquor, so.
Is that also related to what happened in France?
Probably.
I think so, yeah.
What did happen in France?
Okay. Okay. No, did we answer anything? I don't think so yet. We're good at making questions, answering not so much. Yeah. I mean, I almost feel like we could cross off who is Samantha and replace it with what's the relationship, but I think those are sort of the same-ish questions, so I guess we can leave that for now. All right. So, Daryl, you ready to take another scene?
Right, musical cue is Miles Beyond. I hustled down the stairs, not quite running, but definitely not walking either. As I rounded the corner, I saw the fire exit swing closed. I cut across and pushed through and found myself getting dripped on in the alleyway. Looked to my left, nothing. Looked to my right, and there I see a shoulder slipping past this edge of the building. Well, there's no time like the present to run all this off, so I tear after him. The ground is slippery under my feet. I weave in and out of bystanders, trying to chase after what looks like a black trench coat on a gray pavement.
The damn puddles have got me slipping and sliding all over the place. My cheap patent leather shoes weren't meant for this kind of chase, but I keep up anyway. Finally, I see the coat going down an alley, and I follow headlong. That was going to get me in trouble someday, I thought. Just as the trench coat stopped and turned around.
It was the girl from last night, but she didn't look so pretty right now. She had quite the shiner forming on her left cheek. And there was definitely a look like she'd gone down the wrong alley, like she'd gone down the wrong road, like she'd made the wrong choice. Not just now, but every choice she'd ever made. Her eyes just begged me to say something. What are you doing here, Miss Samantha?
She blinked at me, and for a second I thought maybe she didn't remember. But then she smiled. Oh, Sam, right?
Sam and Sam, here again.
Oh, what a mess this has been. Oh. How you doing, Sam? You still want to take that walk in the park?
I certainly think that we should. Maybe you can tell me how you got that shiner.
No. It's not a very interesting story, but sure, I'll tell you if you want.
Yeah, I think any story is interesting when the prologue has a bouncer ending up in a river and the heroine listening in at doors where she's not supposed to.
Oh, Sam, you do make up the most interesting stories.
Oh, there's no making up about this. Your pal Marky got pulled out of the drink just this morning.
What, Mark? No. No. I saw Mark last night. He's fine. He said goodnight to me before I headed off to sleep.
Well, he certainly didn't look fine this morning with a necklace of handprints and a hole in his chest.
Look,
That news shook her deeply. I could see it. But I saw just as quickly that she was trying to regain her composure. I saw just as quickly that she was trying to put on a mask.
I'm gonna just cut real quick here. Do you want to use one of your special abilities to make that happen?
Yeah, I'll make that indisputably true. She was deeply shaken to find out that Mark is dead.
Excellent. Actually, I could, yeah, just do.
listen, Sam, I'm gonna need to take a rain check on that walk, okay? I just remembered. Gotta go practice. Got a big show coming up soon.
Are you a showgirl, Samantha?
Oh, trying to be.
Is that why you've been hanging around Mr. Gold's place? Is he trying to help you turn a country girl into a Showtime star?
Now, are these official questions, Mr. Detective?
I mean, it's only official if I have to make it.
Well, perhaps you'd better make it then. I'm definitely not in the habit of answering questions about my personal life.
I stand for a moment, looking down at her. Take a moment more, see if she'll crack. And when I see that she's not gonna budge, I just step to the side and let it go.
She walked away from me. Wasn't sure whether she was walking away like a sinner running away from a possible. Try that again. I couldn't tell away she was walking away like a sinner or a saint, but she definitely was walking away. She couldn't seem to help it though. Just as she was about to turn around a corner, she looked back at me, gave me a smile and a wave, and then she was gone.
Scene.
Okay. Hey, we know a little bit about Samantha, don't we?
Yes.
She's a showgirl.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also strongly implied that Gold is like fronting her for some reason because he did make that line about the showgirls.
Yeah, do we know enough to cross that off and maybe open a different question, or?
Mm-hmm. We also know what happened to Samantha too. Well,
Well, she got punched.
She got punched. And I'm definitely gonna say Samantha is the silver tongue.
Cool. We had to bundle up, who and why she got hit by it with just why does she have a shiner. I think we can probably cross off why is she meeting the man upstairs because Mr. Gold's doing something for her.
Yeah, I think so.
Helping her, pimping her, something. We don't know the exact relationship. We don't know S&Z. We don't know who killed Mark. So cool. All right, Joe, you ready to take us away?
I am. For this scene, let's music cue on the cool side. I spent the rest of the day running down leads, shaking down informants, knocking on doors, knocking a head or two. None of it worked. None of it got me any information, and none of it made me feel better. Kept running over Samantha in my mind. What did she know? What was she doing with Gold?
Finally, the bare gray afternoon light faded into afternoon dusk, and night quickly crept over the city. I think it's time to head back to the bar. It's time to go have a word with Johnny again. So I hightail it over there, trying not to look too eager to have a sip to take the edge off the day.
The bar door opened, and I smelled that same old smell of smoke, beer, disappointment, with an underhint of sickness that made the whole thing just that so much special. As I walked into the place, I had that thought, the thought I had over and over again every time I walked through this door. Did this place really remind me so much of that one night in France? Is that why I kept coming back here? Is that why I tolerated Mr. Gold smiling in my face instead of punching him in his? I shook my head. Maybe the answers would be at the bottom of this bottle.
I slid over to my usual seat at the bar. Johnny didn't even bother to look at me, just set the glass down, already full, as if it were waiting for me. I took it and downed it in a single gulp, slammed the glass on the table, and just didn't even bother to ask for another. I leaned in, looked him in the eye, and said, Johnny, I really gotta know. One of your boys ended up in the river last night. And Gold says it's nothing, but it's not nothing when somebody ends up in the river.
Sam, you're a funny one. In this town, guy ended up in the river's nothing at all. Especially if that guy happens to be asking questions he shouldn't.
Now, Johnny, you know it's my job to ask questions that people shouldn't.
I know. But I also know you're off duty right now. Otherwise, you couldn't be in here down in my free slop, am I right? Sorry, cut. Down in my cheap slop, right?
Now, Johnny, I'm disappointed. I thought you were pouring me top bottle.
Johnny just continued to wipe the bar, smile on his face, answering for me.
So, I know you've occasionally got girls in here dancing on that stage over there from time to time, but has that dame that I saw in here last night ever been on your stage?
Oh, God, Sam, you're not sweet, but you're not sweet on another one, are you?
I'm not saying I'm sweet. I'd just like to see the show.
You and every other man jack in this town. But yeah, Sam, well, she's been up on the stage, but never in front of a crowd. Practicing. Sometimes she works with our trombone player. Likes to test out a step or two.
She prepping for some other kind of show?
Now, you wouldn't be implying anything about the nice girls that work here, would you, Sam? That'd be downright unfriendly.
I'm not saying a word against their virtue, Johnny. You know I have only the utmost respect for those hard-working lasses.
Johnny's laugh was mean, but it was relaxed. As far as I know, Samantha's just here to sing and dance her little heart out. Whether it stays that way after Mr. Gold talks to her, who knows? You can buy a lot in this town, Sam.
Hey, who's taking Mark's place tonight?
I think we got. Oh, yeah, we got that guy from out west, Rob something. Yeah, new guy. Not too, much up here, but he's good at grabbing people and making sure they don't get too friendly.
It's always a fine trait in a man.
True enough.
Well, how's about you top me off, and I think I'll do a lap.
You got it.
I try not to make it too obvious that I'm sauntering across the mostly empty bar to go talk to the bouncer. But it's not really much way to make it any less obvious. I slide over into an empty seat, and I raise my glass at him.
Hey, you know I'm not allowed to drink on duty, right?
What they don't know won't hurt him. I slide across the glass.
Mr. Gold was very clear on this matter. Not to get drunk on the job is, it's not good. I don't want to do that. Who the hell are you, anyway?
I'm just a friend, Rob. For instance, I know that a big, strong Midwestern boy like you won't get drunk off a single shot. I also happen to know that Mr. Gold won't be in for a couple of hours.
Yeah, you talk pretty slick, but I don't know, because, it seems to me like, maybe you want to make the new guy look bad on the job, or maybe you're working for Mr. Gold and this is a loyalty test. I ain't no dummy, and I know what happens. I have one drink. It's not good. It's not good. That's why my wife left me and everything.
Oh, my apologies. But I certainly didn't expect that I was going to be able to trick such an intelligent young man like yourself and take a shot at somebody down it.
It's all right. She ain't no good anyway. What can I tell you?
Dames, what are they good for?
I could think of a couple things, but it's neither here nor there. You look like a regular at this place.
That I most certainly am. But you're pretty new here, Rob. What happened to the guy who usually stands there?
Oh, well, we had there was a little bit of a problem with that guy. He's not going to be around no more. They didn't tell me anything other than that, and I don't, talk to Mr. Gold. You don't want to ask no questions. Except, I'm allowed to ask questions of you because, you're the, how you call it, the clientele. So what are you doing here? Because looks like you already tied one on while you're coming into a nightclub. finish the job. I mean, it's quicker ways to kill yourself than alcohol poisoning there.
I take another look at Rob, who is actually much more intelligent than his appearance would initially let on. I quickly have to change tactics. I let back a sigh and say, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough life, and I've seen some real bad stuff out there.
Yeah, well, I guess a lot of us saw some pretty bad stuff, in the war and everything. I was on Omaha Beach, that wasn't a good day.
I heard about that. That was not a good day.
Well, had to do it, I guess, right? I mean, when there's a bad guy over there, you can't let him push you around, right?
That is very true, Rob. Very true. You shouldn't let bad guys push you around. So
Yeah, well, I guess the bad guys, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, right? I mean, I don't know. Things ain't been the same since Roosevelt. Whatever.
So you got your eyes on any of the girls here?
Oh, no. Strictly off limits. Especially, that one looker in the dark suit. We got warned off her specific. Like, I think the boss, knows her somehow. Maybe I heard them talking. It wasn't in English, so I don't know.
Wasn't in English. That sounds mysterious.
I mean, I don't know. I knew enough Italian when I was with my Clark's little outfit to order a drink and tell a girl I loved her. It's pretty easy. Never did learn any French. Weren't there long enough.
You were in France?
Yeah, Omaha Beach, and then I didn't get the liberation. By that point, I was in Patton's on me, and we just kind of kept moving.
I take a moment, steady myself against the bar, as though those memories try to come back up and fight them down. I look at my empty glass, and I realize that I need another drink. So, well, Rob, it's nice talking to you. Hope you enjoy working here. See you around.
Not if I see you first, right? Ha
I give him a look, just nod, and walk away.
I think we can call that a scene.
Oh, that was interesting.
Oh my goodness. He's kind of my new favorite character.
Poor Rob. Mongo just pawn in Game of Life. Cool. So we know a little bit more about Sam and Gold, maybe, or rather Samantha and Gold. Like,
You know, they have they're speaking French to each other.
yeah.
So, can I ask a quick, like, really meta question?
Mhm.
If I've got an idea of something that I want to introduce to the game, is it a good idea? Like, do I want to sit on it as a reveal, or is it a good idea to reveal it sooner rather than later?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? I mean, it's a kind of story gamey type thing. So as we keep talking, that will change things. And of course, Nerves of Steel has superpowers in that regard. I'm not sure the right way to do that.
Okay.
Well, I do want to address one small continuity thing. Did the body get fished out of the bay or the river? Because I said bay originally, and now it's river. I mean, I don't care. We could change it either way.
I've been saying river exclusively, and I don't know why I did not even hear the word bay, so
That's okay. I had kind of imagined this as being Los Angeles, which means though actually, wait a minute. If it's been raining 4 days, the LA River is probably flowing, so that could actually be a thing. Maybe that was the better idea anyway.
I know nothing about LA, so
I know a little bit about LA. Yeah, so we'll just not worry about that. I guess it was the bay, but let's not worry about that right now.
I mean, certainly, Sam's somebody who uses the up the river, out of the river.
Absolutely. Cool. I don't know if we've answered any. Oh wait, we did answer who was listening at the door. Samantha. We don't know who killed Mark. We don't know what S and Z means. What happened in France? We still don't know. Why does she have a shiner? We still don't know. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right then. I guess it's my scene, isn't it? All right. So I'm thinking we'll do this and then maybe take a quick break. And so let me think about what to do. What can I answer here? Cool. Let me go back to night falling. I drove back to my apartment. The same dingy steps, the same busted elevator, same door that I had left unlocked again. I came in, threw down the bottle in its plain paper bag. It was still half full. Something must be wrong. I wasn't drinking fast enough. I had just about gotten it in my head to maybe put on the radio and listen to something when the phone rang. I picked it up, and it was her.
Hi, Sam.
Samantha, I wasn't expecting to receive a call from you, especially not this late.
Ooh, so formal. I'm happy you recognize my voice.
I would recognize those dulcet tones anywhere, darling.
Oh, you are sweet. Listen, Sam. I hate to be this kind of girl, but I need a favor.
What kind of favor?
Oh, nothing much. I've just got a little something I need someone to hang on to for me, like a friend, just for a couple of days.
So you're asking me to be a friend for a couple of days?
You could be a friend for longer if you like, but we'll start with just the next couple of days. How's that sound?
Where exactly would we be friends at, Samantha?
Oh, you do ask the most interesting questions, Sam. Well, I tell you what, we're quite a bit overdue for that walk in the park you mentioned. Why don't we meet there?
I'll be there in 10.
Be sure to bring an umbrella. It's raining awful hard out there.
I set the receiver down, and before it's even settled into the cradle, I'm already out the door. Did I remember to lock it? Does it matter? Not sure, but I've got that umbrella. The park is cold. The wind cuts through the bare trees. The rain is hitting me almost horizontally. This umbrella's not going to do any good. And I'm standing around waiting for a ding.
I saw her coming out of the rain. First, couldn't see much, just the light tan, trench coat and the dark black umbrella. But then she passed under a street light, moved the umbrella just the right way so that I could see her. She looked like she put on a lot of makeup, covered up to shine her really good. She smiled when she saw me, started walking quickly. You see, she was carrying a small valise, like the kind you'd pack up to see your mom on a weekend trip. Hello,
I chased, I chased after her, walking, not quite running, but definitely not walking, trying to close the distance between the two of us. I couldn't ever quite reach her, but she turned every once in a while to talk to me.
Sam and Samantha together again.
It is a wonder what you ladies do with that makeup. It's almost like you didn't even get hit.
Oh, Sam. You do make up the most interesting stories.
You're gonna tell me what's in the valise?
Oh, just some personal things. Papers mostly.
And where
My father brought them over from France after the war. She stopped suddenly, turned around. I was 2 steps forward before I was able to stop myself, and well, suddenly we were there, both under our umbrellas, faces about 1.5 feet apart. Found myself leaning in, drawn like a moth to a flame. I was just about to touch my lips to hers when suddenly I felt it between us, the case she was holding. I just need you to take care of this for a couple of days, she whispered.
and what's gonna happen in a couple of days?
If you come by the bar in a couple of days, if you come by the bar Saturday night, you'll see.
I felt my hands closing around the case, almost as if they didn't even ask permission to do it. Felt myself trying to bridge the gap, leaning in slightly closer until I could feel her breath against my face. Say, Samantha, you know I'm not really one for playing games. And yet, here we are.
Oh, I don't know. I think with that face of yours, I think you'd be pretty good at poker.
I let my eyes trail down. You see the curve of her chin, the drop of her neckline. I see the gold chain hanging around her neck. And it falls just slightly too low for me to see the pendant. But that chain looks very familiar.
Have a good night, Sam. I'll see you Saturday. And with that, she planted a quick, almost grandmotherly kiss on my lips and turned around and walked away.
I watched her depart, quickly swallowed up by the rain and the wind. I fished around in my pocket and I pulled out the matching necklace chain that I picked up off that bruiser earlier this morning. Twirled it around my finger for a few seconds and caught the charm in my hand. S and Z. I closed my hand around it, dropped it back in my pocket, and walked away.
Yeah, that seems too good a fade out. I had some ideas, but that's the right fade out. So cool. Let's do our duty here.
You are good at coming up with questions.
Yeah, answering them.
Eh,
Okay.
It's still like the beginning of the second act.
Yeah.
Not done yet.
I don't. Oh, okay. What's in the valise?
What's in the box?
I know. What's in the box? I think that's the basic one we got at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, what does the chain mean?
I think we can cover that with S and Z,
What does
maybe.
SPD mean? Yeah, I think you're right.
I was definitely doing like, it's identical to the one that I picked up off the bruiser.
Yeah, I like that. I think that makes me wonder.
I'm also just saying, like, her makeup was flawless. It looks like she had never been punched.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So why don't we take a short break and maybe come back at 35 after the hour? That work for everyone? All right, great. So I will see you all back in a moment.
Hello again.
Hey, all right. So we got ourselves a little bit of a mystery here.
Mm-hmm.
Divided loyalties, mysterious people. What's in the bag? Cool. All right. And so far we seem to all be doing pretty good on the talking rules, so that's good news. You guys took to it like fish to water. And Daryl, when you're ready, I guess it's time for a new scene.
Musical cue is almost a year ago. The title card reads 3 years previous. Camera. So, I listen to the bombs going off in the distance. Find myself in that bunker again. Just holding out hope that the sun will come up one more time. That I'll be able to go on another day. I look over across the way and I see Tommy sitting on there, his mustache barely growing in, but he's still trying. And I just wonder, God, I want to get that kid home. I want to get me home. I want to get all of us back home.
Hey, Sarge, you all right? You look a little dazed there.
Just thinking about home again.
Yeah, me too. I'm just wondering what my mom's doing right now, you know? Probably out there. I don't even know what time it is back in Omaha, but probably milking the cows, probably feeding the chickens, probably giving my old man a hard time.
Sounds like the beautiful slice of Americana you've got there.
Yeah. It's funny, you know. When I was there, all I ever wanted to do was get out, you know, travel the world, see things, and now, well, all I really want to do is go home.
I think that's all we want, all of us. If only there was an end in sight.
That's why we got to keep fighting, right? So that we can give a happy ending for Ma and Pa and everybody back home.
I take another drag of my cigarette, exhale strongly. I don't know if it's the cigarette smoke or the mist that my breath makes in this freezing cold night. Sounds like it's almost like the bombs are getting closer, but I've been thinking that for days. I close my eyes, willing myself not to fall asleep. I don't know. Is there even any reason to wake up? I swear those bombs are getting closer. Did you hear something?
I wasn't sleeping. What?
I don't know. I thought I heard something.
Oh,
I perked my ears up, trying to listen. Could have sworn I the snap of a twig.
rats maybe?
Doesn't sound like rats. A bullet flies through the air, and it's squarely between Tommy's eyes. See,
Oh, poor Tommy. It's not easy to have every war movie cliche dumped on you at the same time.
There was a couple times I was like, "Am I going too far with this?" No.
is essentially a bar when it comes to a good war flashback.
Yeah. So is that what happened in France?
It could be like, yeah. I was just thinking he probably lost like his entire like platoon or something like that. Like maybe he was the sole survivor, just to add another cliche on top of the cliches.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I don't think that actually generated any questions, which is fine. We're in Act 2. So cool. Joe, it's take it away.
It had been raining for 5 days. I actually managed to have the case in my apartment, a dingy, crappy little apartment, for the whole night before curiosity got the better of me. A night filled with long dreams, memories of dead friends. A couple times I woke up, found myself wishing I still had some of that rot gut left in the bottle. This morning, all I had to tide me over was coffee, a couple of cigarettes I hadn't mashed when I rolled over in the night. I knew McNulty was going to come pick me up soon. Yet I just sat here on my couch, staring at that stupid brown case. Before, my hands moved without asking permission, and now I couldn't make them do anything. Excuse me. Finally, I reached over. The case was locked, but may as well have been closed with chewing gum. Popped it open with my trusty knife. Opened the case, and well, it's like being back in that nightmare all over again. Right on top of a loose bunch of papers, documents, and folders was a picture of Tommy. Smiling, with his arm around this young woman. Sorry, cut back. Smiling at the camera, grinning like he had his whole life ahead of him. And on either side of him, two young girls. Two young girls that looked exactly the same. Two young girls that looked exactly like a young Samantha.
I breathed a heavy sigh. She must have known I was going to open the case. And it couldn't be a coincidence that she knew Tommy. It couldn't be a coincidence. I don't think I've got any other choice. I think I gotta go talk to Mr. Gold. When McNulty arrives at my apartment, bangs on the door, swings open, and he sees that no one's home, I'm already on my way to the bar.
Sorry, and musical cue for that one was The Night Falling. And if it's okay, I think we'll call that scene there.
Okay. So I'm going to say we know what the S and Z means, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. What's in the release? We know that too. We don't know the relationship between Sam and Gold. We don't know how Samantha and Gold know each other. We don't know who killed Mark, and we don't know why Samantha got hit. But yep. And she was surprised that Mark was killed, so we can't use that one. We gotta be more clever than that.
We also don't know how Tommy ties into this.
No, that's true. Okay. I guess it's on me. Huh? Jeez, I got nothing. Let me think about this for a sec. Okay. I'm gonna try out the black cat today. So can we just cue that? When I stepped into the place, there were more people than last time. That hungover feeling was gone. There was a lot more activity. Most of the band was in one corner rehearsing. I saw the waiters and waitresses talking over the day's menu. Before I could step in any further, Rob stiff-armed me right at the door. Hey there now. What you trying to pull here, Sam? I thought we were friends, right?
Yeah, we're friends, Rob. What's going on?
They're doing all that getting ready stuff. I don't know, it's all show business, it's all technical.
And I promised not to get in the way. I just
No, wait a minute. You play an instrument there, Sam?
I don't play an instrument, but I got a feeling somebody's playing games.
Oh, yeah, that may be. I mean, we got you're a cop. I shouldn't tell you about the wire betting thing we got in the back room. So, but Sam, you ain't got no business here. So I don't know what you're doing here. I'd hate if it got personal between you and me,
It's not personal between you and me, Rob. I'm here to see Gold.
Well, Mr. Gold, he told me not to let anybody see him, so you're right, it's not personal. Could be professional relationship we're about to have here, Sam.
Can you just tell him that I'm here to see him? Say it has to do with Tommy.
I don't know, Sammy.
Just tell him that. See what he says. I'll wait here. Won't even sneak around. Scouts on.
Hey, okay, you better. I'm gonna hold you to that. Boy Scout can't lie. So he went up the stairs slow, like he had to think about it each time. He was upstairs in the office longer than I expected. Then I saw him come back, trudging his way down the stairs with a hangdog look on his face. Hey, Sammy, he said to me. You ever do Golden Gloves or anything like that?
I can't say that I have.
Then this is gonna hurt. He cocked back his fist and slugged me right in the jaw.
Ugh. The room
Right.
spun. The room spun. I couldn't see anything. It all went black for just a second, and then everything started to come back. Everything was fuzzy. I could barely keep my head on straight. I looked up and he was like, "Does Gold send his regards?"
I'm just doing what Mr. Gold told me to do when I told him what you said. And he said, to do that. Now, Sam, you're a tough guy, but uh, I went 5 rounds with Lewis's trainer once, and the Brown Bomber was pretty tough, and his trainer was no lightweight either. So maybe this is a fight you don't want to have. Or I'm gonna just cut real quick and say, we could totally treat this as a conflict.
Is a conflict treated in any special way, or?
Yeah, whoever's not in the conflict can tell us, can make a decision about whether this goes good or bad. Depending how we frame it, you can just do it a thumbs up, or thumbs down. Wow, that really perspective. Wow. Um, so we can totally do that. So I'm gonna cut back in and say, So what's it gonna be, Sammy?
My fight's not with you, Rob. But you know what? You don't even have to tell Gold anything. He knows me. He knows this isn't over. But I'll see you around. You're gonna owe me a drink for this bruise on my chin you just gave me.
Oh, come on, Sam. I'm just a working guy, and I'll tell him what you said. But Sammy, he might decide that he's got to make this the last thing he says about this. You just think about that, okay? Because I like you, Sam. You can take a punch. Not everybody can.
It's fine, Rob. I'll see you around.
I am gonna call that scene. I'm also gonna just check off because I've been using Rob so obviously that he's mine. That I'm just gonna. I mean, it seems kind of a waste because clearly he works for Gold. He literally works for Gold. But I think it's a little bit more than that at this point. So
I also like how he feels bad about it too. He's just like, "I'm sorry. I like you, man."
there's a little. I'm trying for a little bit of a kind of early De Niro. Like, well, I don't know. You say that thing. I don't know. Cool. That was interesting. I basically made a scene about blocking. That was fantastic. Good job, Kat. Go back and replay unsafe again. You know what? Let's cross this out and change the question though to how are Tommy and Gold related? Possibly, actually, but cool. Huh. I mean, that would be cruel, wouldn't it? But like, we know that Rob can punch, right? And we know that she had a big shiner on her face. Yeah, okay. Put that in there. Oh, now I feel all bad. He must have had a good reason. All right, Daryl, you ready?
I pull out that. As I walk out of the bar, the rain pelts down on me. I forgot my umbrella. I huddle underneath a canopy outside of a bodega and pull out the picture. Flipping it over, I see, scroll on the back, Tommy, Samantha, Zelda. There's also an address. So I guess it's time to head uptown. I get there one way or another. Soaks through. How good is this trench coat anyway? Doesn't seem to do anything. I'm in front of a much more obscenely beautiful building than I ever expected. The man at the door doesn't even bother to hold it open for me. Gotta open it myself. He knows I don't belong here. I walk over to the elevator, push the button, right up to the 7th floor. There, on the door, I see the name Williams. Give it a rap. One of them opens it up.
Sam?
I look at her face real close, trying to see if it's just makeup or if it's actually flawless.
Sam, what are you doing here?
And then I spot it. I see the discoloration rising through the layers of foundation. This is the first one. It's the one I met. I hazard a guess. Samantha? Or is it Zelda this time?
You've met my sister then.
Indeed I have. May I come in?
Sure, why not?
I walk into the immaculately cared for apartment, dripping slush and slop on the white tile.
The place felt cold. Like a cage. A nice cage. Fancy cage. All the best bird seed and fancy water you could buy, but still a cage. Can I get you something to drink, Sam?
I won't have anything from you. At least not until you explain this. I turn around and I set the picture on the counter, slide it across to her.
Where did you get that?
Well, apparently your sister gave it to me.
Wait, no. Why would Samantha be giving you a picture of her, me, and Tommy? That doesn't make sense.
I'm not sure. What I'd like to know is how you know that I knew Tommy.
Wait. What?
I was there. I was in the bunker when it all went down. I was the only one who walked out of there alive.
No. No, that doesn't make sense. They told us his entire squad was wiped out.
You were wrong. I had amnesia for months. They found me on a coast, delirious. But I know what happened. I know who was there. I saw it all happen.
What happened?
We got overtaken. We didn't even have a fighting chance. But he died a hero. I'll tell you that much.
Samantha, she was never the same when we got the news about Tommy. She talked big, always lightness and fluffy, but I could tell it wasn't the same. Like a dark cloud had come over her. I thought maybe moving here to the city would help. We have an act. We're going to do an act for Mr. Gold, the Dancing Williams sisters. Didn't seem all that interested in it until a little while ago.
Do you think that your sister really knows what she's doing with Mr. Gold?
Oh, well. Samantha was always good at wrapping guys around her little finger. Hasn't hurt her so far. Although sometimes it hurts other people. She said that I could see her. They could see her tenderly, unconsciously rubbing the area under her eye.
Who did that to you?
Sometimes she just doesn't think, she just acts. And when I told her I wasn't sure I wanted to, no, it's not important, Sam. It's just a thing that happens between sisters. That's all.
My sister never punched me.
Yeah, well, you're lucky, I guess.
I'm worried about Samantha. I'm worried about everything that's going down at that dingy little bar.
Why? It's not like she's in trouble or anything, right?
Did you hear that Mark ended up dead?
She didn't have anything to do with that, though. I mean, she would never.
Just like she'd never do this. I ran my finger along her cheek delicately so as not to cause her any pain.
Difference between punching someone and killing them.
Do you know where Samantha is now?
She said she had something to do down at the city records office. We were going to meet up at the club later, go over our act for Mr. Gold.
Can you do something for me, Zelda?
Yeah, sure, Sam. What can I do for you?
I just need you to show up an hour late. Just an hour. So you got held up in traffic or something.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks, Zelda. And with that, I decide to finally stop dripping all over her floors. And I take what I hope to be the last of the muck out of her life.
Cool. So we had to change a few things. Who was listening at the door? Was Zelda?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Samantha? Well, we're not sure, but Zelda got decked by Sam. And cool. We still don't know the relationship between Tommy and Gold. I have some ideas on that. Samantha and Gold, and who killed Mark? I almost crossed off, but you know what? That could still be an open question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so cool. I think it's my scene, right? Yep. Cool. I'll just go with, oh yeah, Night on the Docks. That should do the trick. I stepped out from the front of the building into the rain, but almost immediately I felt an arm on my elbow. I spun around. It was McNulty. If anything, his hangdog look was even longer now. He just shook his head at me. All right, smart guy. You're so smart. Now we gotta take a walk, you and me, Sammy. You know that you were I don't understand. You know how this works. Why were you sticking your nose in his business all the time? You should know better than this, Sammy. You should know better. Now we gotta go talk.
I don't even know what to say. I knew McNulty was a lot of things, but I never took him to be on Gold's payroll.
It's not like it used to be, Sam. You know, back in the war, it's easy then. We knew who the enemy was. Now, all I know is I went over there and, left half my vision in my left eye in Italy. And Gold comes over here and he's got all this money. How'd he get it? I don't know. He wasn't doing anything important in England. Too big a question for me, Sam. Just gotta know. What do you think you're gonna do here? How you think you're gonna make this any better?
I don't know, McNulty. All I know is I've got to make it up to Tommy somehow.
Who is he? Some kid who bought it while you were in Europe?
I was supposed to take care of it.
Sammy. What are you gonna learn? This is a cold, hard world. The only person that's gonna take care of you is you. You've not been doing such a good job at that now lately, have you, Sam?
I made a promise to take care of him.
Oh, well. I made a promise to protect and serve. So I guess the only question is, how do you want this to go?
I hang my head. I don't look McNulty in the eye. I know I'm going to regret this. But I haul up and slug him in the face.
I'm going to turn to the person not involved in this conflict to tell me how that goes.
Sam cold cocks him down in one punch. Like, I think at this point, yeah, it's got to be Sam winning on this one.
Okay, cool.
The pain blisters across my knuckles, but McNulty goes down. I know I've only got a couple seconds, so I lean in and dip into the pocket of his trench coat that I know holds the car keys, and I bolt it. I find the car, and I peel out before he can stop me. I couldn't believe it. McNulty and I have been partners for years. I never once suspected. Like, I knew that he cut corners, and I knew that he did things that probably wouldn't have made the missus proud, but to be on Gold's payroll, right under my nose, like that, when he knew I'd been there so many times, it's just shocked, shaken to my core. I pull up to the bar again. This time I don't go in the front door. Sneak around the back, climb up the fire escape, and I take a peek into Gold's windows.
He was there. Sam was there. At least I thought it was Sam. They were having some kind of argument.
We had an arrangement, Will. We had a deal.
Sammy, our deal has gotten so much more complicated. I mean, there's the whole matter of I lost a very good, well-trained assistant.
He was neither good nor well-trained.
Oh,
then you wouldn't have lost him.
It's easy for you to say, love. I mean, despite what they tell you in the movies, it's not so easy to find good muscle in this town. I mean, half the ones that have any body on them at all just oil themselves up and try and get a screen test. It's ridiculous. And all the soldiers are worthless. Hangdogs like McNulty or drunks like Sam.
Yeah, well, regardless, none of that is my problem, Will. I came here with an opportunity. We were both going to take advantage of it, and now I find out you want to cut me out?
I'm merely changing the percentage, love. I mean, come on now. We both know the kind of business we're in. Or should I go and tell your good friend, Mr. Sam, about all the deals we made there in Europe? How many paintings we have some that were destroyed by the Germans?
Mm-hmm. You're going to go and tell a police officer about how we're both war criminals?
No, love. I'll go and tell Sam about how a certain young lady might have just happened to mention to the local German constabulary where the front lines were, in that bunker held by those Americans. You think I should tell him that, love? You think he'll like that?
I stood there stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was like time stopped for a moment. I might have stood there in that rain, thinking about Tommy, thinking about Europe, thinking about Gold and Samantha. Might have sat there all night if she hadn't pulled out a gun. Oh, I don't think you're going to be telling anybody anything, Will.
Sam. Samantha. If you pull that trigger, you're dead.
Trigger got pulled, but it wasn't Samantha's. The glass broke as my bullet sailed through it, caught her right in the shoulder, sent the gun tumbling to the ground. I raised the window panes and stepped into the office.
Sam?
It's no use faking that innocent act with me, Samantha. I met Zelda earlier today, and I went through the case.
You went through the case?
Yeah. I went through the case. I found the photograph of you, Zelda, and Tommy. Found all the information about your trips through Europe. Now I know what you were doing while we were on the front lines, while we were fighting for our country. You were off there turning a quick buck.
Listen to me, Sam. Listen to me. I know you think you know what's going on here, but you don't.
All I want to know is why. And as I say this, I turn the gun on Gold. Why? Was it you who told the Germans where we were? Was it you who led to the deaths of everyone in my squad, including your brother?
There ain't no percentage in that for me, is there now? Sam, my boy. I do thank you for your service. If you'd like, there could be a little extra in your pay envelope this week. It would be a perfectly acceptable bonus for valiant service in the defense of our city. No, Sam, my lad. I had an assistant. You've met her. She's standing right here. You just put a bullet in her shoulder. Can I say, Sam, she spoke perfect French. She was perfect to go down there, liaise with the resistance. Could sell both sides out at the same time. Sweep in and pick up whatever was left. It's a living. It was a dirty living, but it was a living.
Did you pick up all of the treasures that were being held in the base that we were occupying?
Well, I can't say I got all of them. Some other people got there too, but I mean, Sam, my boy, the Germans were just going to steal them and take them back to Germany, bury them in a mountain somewhere. This way, they're still out there. Why, I happen to know that at least 3 of them are in a museum now. I mean, a museum, Sam. If you look at it from a certain point of view, it's win-win for everyone. People get to see the art. I made a little money. I didn't expect anybody to die, not my kid brother, but cost of doing business. Barely knew the kid anyway.
You knew him enough to ask me to watch over him when we enlisted together.
Well, I figured you were a good enough man to do that, Sam. But I guess here we are. And he's dead.
You're right. I guess I wasn't a good enough man. And I pulled the trigger again. I pull it 2 more times. Gold looks down, looks back up at me, and I see the color, what little color there was draining from his face.
Yeah, let's cut the scene right there just so we can talk, and then we can maybe pick it up right away. Okay, cool. So how are Tommy and Gold related? Literally. We're down to one last question.
Yes.
So this is going to be it. And I think it's poetic justice to hand this back to Daryl and let him finish this up. Remember, all the guilty must be punished. Sorry. However, I unchecked the against the Silver Tongue box, so right now Silver Tongue will win any conflict against Nerves of Steel if she wants. So just letting you know that. Have fun, kids. I'm gonna just eat some popcorn, watch this, and jump in to make your lives more complicated.
Sam?
I swing the gun back around and train it on Samantha.
Sam? Listen. Gold wasn't lying about everything. Yes. Yes, I was part of the resistance. I did sell them out. I did give him information to give to the Germans, but I never told anyone where the front lines were. I never told anyone where troops were. You have to believe me, Sam. That wasn't me.
You hunted down treasures for your own personal gain, and you let good men die. As far as I'm concerned, you're as guilty as he is. I start to close the gap between us, the pistol raised.
And as soon as I got close, I looked deep into her eyes that were so frightened, so angry. And that was when I noticed the bruising under the left eye coming through a bit of the makeup. And that was when I heard the gunshot.
I felt the warmth blooming in my stomach, and I looked down and I saw my dingy shirt going from off-white to red. A hand went up and I felt the warm stickiness of my blood as it started to leak out. quick cut. Is this like Hays Code violations? Like that's like some brutal stuff.
Let's see. Immoral.
No, I guess not.
So actually, a funny thing about the Hays Code is that you could not actually show a shot and its results in the same shot. So you couldn't show somebody shooting someone and then they fall down. You had to do a cut. It's weird, but I think this actually works. I mean, it's just chocolate blood, so I mean, it might not be that much blood too. So, yeah. But just do that real quick. Cool. Yeah.
All right. Action. I held a hand up and felt the warm stickiness between my fingers. My arm started to shake as I aimed the gun. I couldn't let this go. I couldn't keep thinking of Tommy. I kept thinking of those big eyes and that stupid gap between his teeth and how eager he looked and how much he wanted to get back home to his mom milking cows. I felt my hand clenching the gun tighter and tighter, and I knew there were 2 more bullets in the chamber. And so I let him fly. And then everything went black. So that's the scene, and I'm gonna let Samantha decide in the next one what gets to decide if justice was done.
Don't forget, I still technically have a character in this game.
Oh yeah.
And McNulty's still alive. I spent my 3 on McNulty, on Rob because he became a main character, and of course on, well, I thought it was Samantha.
Oh my god, I'm so confused by them.
The whole Sam Samantha thing may have been a mistake.
I'm going to posit that there is not, in fact, a good twin.
I fell for the classic cliche.
Actually, yeah, that could work. Why don't you start? I have an idea.
Okay, so we're still doing a scene then? Okay. As I felt the blackness closing around on me, it all started to fit together. Funny how knowing your life is about to slip away just gives everything a certain amount of clarity. I opened my eyes and I saw the 2 of them lying there. Samantha, Zelda. I saw the .22 pistol that each of them carried, matched set like the 2 of them. I thought about Tommy, Will Gold. I thought about a bunker off in France where lives were lost in order to make money selling fancy pictures that one day would just be firewood. And my last thought before I passed out was, I wonder if it was going to finally stop raining.
That works for me. I think the last shot would be McNulty standing in the rain, looking, coming into the front door where the bodies are all gathered. That was a downbeat late 50s noir where they're starting to question the assumptions. This is like early Kubrick or something.
Nice.
Yeah, I have actually never seen The Killing. I really got to get around to doing that one day. I wonder if I can still catch it before Filmstruck goes away. Yeah. Where am I going to see the Criterion Collection now? It's ridiculous. Cool. If you don't mind, I thought maybe we can take a little time to do a quick debrief on camera, just so that Simone can maybe take a look at this and stuff. So what'd you guys think?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I actually know nothing about the noir genre aside from like the cliches. So yeah, like I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants.
That's okay. It's an interesting genre in that the cliches are like largely how the genre is made. I was actually reading something that Chandler wrote today about how Chandler's novels famously the plots don't always add up completely. A lot of times because he was cannibalizing short stories to make them into a novel. But he said, the formula is not important. It's what you do with it that counts. So
That sounds very Chandler.
yeah, it's very much Chandler.
I have to say, I've read a lot of rules that say, "Oh, you should totally play music while you're playing this game," and up until tonight, I've always sort of been like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But having the music to listen to really helped me get into. It really brought me into what I was doing, and that has So I highly recommend it with this for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, and I know that some in notes in the text that it's a little ahistoric because the genre of jazz he wants is specifically like sultry sax heavy jazz, which is kind of not actually 50s jazz, but it definitely works because again it's playing off the cliches. That's our cliche of what a film noir soundtrack should be. When actually that's not what any of the period ones do. Hey, later ones do, yeah. I mean, when I use this with music, I don't have to worry about rights issues with because I'm broadcasting it. I do things like use the theme from Chinatown, which is terrific and really sultry and one of Goldsmith's best. Um, this the thing about this thing that always surprises me is how well everything ends up fitting together at the end.
Yeah.
And
For having three storytellers, I'm amazed it hung together as well as it did.
Mhm. But I also appreciate that y'all rolled so well with like random curveballs that I was throwing in there. I was like, I want there to be an evil twin, and I was like, guess what? There's two.
I have to admit, I was thinking about the twin thing for a while, but then you nailed it with the chain, and I was like, oh yeah, evil twin. Yep.
Yeah, no, that was super cool. That was also that's like striking a little bit more like the heart of the old pulp short stories that were the basis of the genre.
Yeah.
Some of those were way out the door. Yeah, I thought this was great. You guys were on point the whole time. This is really enjoyable. I'm glad we were able to salvage the game in the end.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a free download. You can get it at aviatrixgames.com, which is where I live. And I will be sure to let everyone know how this went. And thanks. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the Gauntlet and other fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for running this. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and I will get to see Daryl in Kingsport 1886. I'm excited about that one too.
Wonderful.
All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful night.